Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Devin Young Show. As you can see, I'm in a different location than I was last time. However, the game is still the same. So, when I started the video last week, it had been something that I've been thinking about for a long time. And so I finally decided to do it. I ripped the Band-Aid off. We're good to go. But there's still a lot more to say. And I think that a lot of men, especially in my age bracket, well, that might be a bit short-sighted, but a lot of men in general are probably going through a lot of similar things that I am. And instead of tackling those, instead of meeting that challenge head on, I gave up. I really gave up. And an easy life is what everybody strives for. But a man who seeks an easy life isn't really a friend to anyone. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm no David Goggins. And I don't think anyone should live that type of lifestyle because it's impossible. We're human. It's impossible to sustain. There are people who are 0 to 100 all day, every day. That's who they are. That's how they're wired. They're type A. That's how they are. But for the majority of people, it's not like that. You try to be tough and you try to keep, pushing through. Every day is just, let me just get through today. Let me get through this morning. Let me get through this afternoon. Let me get through tonight. Let me go to bed. And tomorrow, we can do it all over again. I didn't strive for anything. I didn't work for anything. I didn't fight for anything. I didn't even fight for myself. This is not fighting for yourself. Now I am fighting for myself, but I'm only fighting because I finally saw what I could lose. And it wasn't my life. Granted, I was very lucky with the weight gain that I put on, and there were no, outstanding health problems or anything like that, but you start to see your life kind of crumble. You see your relationships crumble. You see work suffer. You see your physical appearance suffer. And then when all this stuff starts happening, you stop wanting to go out. You stop wanting to take care of yourself. An animal, a being. I'm looking at my cat right now. She's grooming herself. When an animal, whether it be a dog, a cat, a human, whatever, once that animal stops grooming themselves, there's a problem. And I had to look inside myself. I had to ask myself some really tough questions. And, it's crazy because this channel, it started off as, I stopped drinking, so I started a podcast. And, a couple weeks ago, I was sitting in my room. And it was quiet. And I was sober. And you feel everything. Every single thing. Every emotion. You start to think what happened, why it happened, where it happened. You really sit there and you kind of wallow in it. And I know wallow might be a strange word to use, but you're just stuck there. I was stuck before in one set of emotions, and then I was stuck in another set. One of those sets of emotions were negative and keeping me right where I was, and the other was helping to push me where I need to go. So, I don't know why I gave up. I just did. And, it's so easy to say, hey, I'm done. Yeah, I'm not doing that again. I'm a changed man, but that's not how change works. Change is a process. Shit, I might have been trying to change while on the road to depression, right? But it's small incremental things that you do every day. And you're going to fall. We're all humans. We're going to fall. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to slip up. But it's not slipping up. It's getting back up. And that's what I'm trying to do now. And that's what I'm trying to do to make myself better. A better man, a better husband, a better son, a better brother. And it's time for you to do the same thing. Whatever you're going through, you don't have to go through it alone. And this whole mindset that men, we have to be this, this lockbox, this safe of emotion. How, we can't share our emotions, we can't be vulnerable, that's nonsense. That's why men are taking themselves out. That's why men are deleting themselves on a daily basis. Because they try to shoulder this load, because they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to be seen as weak. They don't want to be seen as vulnerable. They don't want to be seen as a liability. They think that if a man is useless, or if a man isn't useful, he's useless. And to a degree, that might be true. But there's nuance to that. You're human. Every day, you going through something. Every day, you fighting battles that you telling nobody about, that no one knows exists. And you're trying to fight every single day. And every day you get up and you brush your teeth and you take a shower, you go sit in that car, you adjust that rearview mirror and you go, you let out that huge sigh. And it's not a sigh of relief. It's a, here we go. It was a sigh to muster strength. And you don't have to do that, man. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to have your feelings talked about. You deserve to have resolution. You deserve to repair. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be your trauma. And let's not start to mitigate trauma. Trauma is trauma. And I can't look at you in the face and say, you know what, bro? I wouldn't have reacted like that. I don't know, bro. And we do that every day on a daily basis. We do things. People react to these things. And then we look at them like they're crazy. And that's the problem I have with the whole free speech movement now. It has absolutely nothing to do with the 14th Amendment. It's about harassing people. It's about making people mad. It's about trying to see how much of a reaction you can stir without it offending your sensibilities. And that's what people are doing. Like you look at guys like Chud the Builder. I brought him up before. Chud the Builder. You don't get to walk out of the house. I don't get to walk up to anyone, use offensive language to them, and then when they react to me, cry victim because they responded in a way that I thought was unsuitable. It's the same thing with mental health. You sitting with your boy and you're confiding in this person, all I can do is listen. It's not my job to understand. It's not my job to, hold your hand. My job is to try to get you through it. You have a team, use it. Us men, we go out in this world every day and we fight battles every single day. You don't have to fight it alone. Because when you do, you end up like this. You try to win and you try to battle and you try to fight and you don't want. And people saw me. I was talking to my mother the other day. She's like, I saw it. I saw how dark your eyes were. I saw how irritated you were all the time. I saw you gaining weight. I saw all of that. And I didn't want to say it to you because I didn't want to create something. My ego was so fragile that I couldn't even take criticism from the people who love me. From the people who want the best for me. The people who want me to live a life so abundantly. That was my ego. My ego led me not to tell people what was going on. My ego led me to try to take it on all by myself. And my ego contributed heavily to my downfall. Man, be proud of yourself. Have pride in yourself, your name, your family, everything. And let that drive your decisions. When you go out, realize that you got people that you are a representative of. But other than that, those same people, that name, that likeness, they want you to live abundantly. And if you got to get something off your chest to do that, fine. If you got to have some tough conversations with people, fine. And if you want to have a tough conversation with somebody, whether they are your family or not, if they disregard your feelings, if they dismiss your feelings, if they minimize your feelings, let them go. Because they don't want the best for you. They just want the ride that they're on with you. You friends with people, y'all cool. I have friends, man, that I haven't talked to in years. Years. There was no reason why we stopped talking. We just, life happens, right? Life happens. But you reach out to these people and it's not reciprocated. And they're letting you know how they felt. When you had the whip and y'all was burning through tires and all that shit, picking up girls and having fun and doing all that, they was there because you were the vehicle. Literally and figuratively. You were the vehicle for their fun, for their entertainment. And once that went away, they did the same thing. So, choose the people in your life wisely. And test them. Put your feelers out there. It's okay. You don't have to be gun-ho, you know, on it. Boom, boom, boom. I'm on it. No, you don't have to be that. It's okay. Because everything breaks down. Everything. Your car breaks down. You got to fix stuff in your house. You're no different. Every day, all those battles that you fight are breaking you down little by little by little. Every single one. You cannot burn that wick too hard. And I use, the freedom of speech angle because, it's kind of a caveat into kind of what else I want to talk about. The First Amendment, I said the 14th. I was thinking about two totally different things. But the First Amendment was created so that people could congregate and share dialogue with each other. That's why it's the first. The freedom of speech is the first. Because the founding fathers of the United States came from England, where it was a monarchy at that time. They couldn't get together. We couldn't get together and gather in our homes and speak against the government. We couldn't speak against the monarchy in public. We couldn't conspire against the government. We couldn't do any of that stuff. That's what it was for. It was so that the people, if you are unhappy with your government, you can freely express yourself, not only to the government, but within the confines of private spaces. What the freedom of speech is now is perverted. It's been perverted by people who just want to sow hate and division. That's what they're doing. These people aren't pushing ideas. They're not creating dialogue. They're not trying to create understanding of their views or their positions. It's just hate. So you have this language, and I'm unsure how many languages. I mean, the dictionary is a huge book. So there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of words in the English language. If you can't use any of the other words to either describe something or to kind of, explain yourself or your feelings, your opinions, then we're not really saying anything. We're not pushing anything forward. We're not creating dialogue. I can't go home and say, maybe that dude was right. That's what freedom of speech is supposed to do. It's supposed to change things. It's not supposed to take us back. And it can't be built off hate. You see, all these guys who want to go back to this la la land, this Bel Air driving, suburban living, wife wears heels in the house. They want to go. That's done. That's done. That's the past. We're progressing. We're not regressing, right? This channel is all about progression. You see me? In a month, I won't look like this. In 10 episodes, I won't look like this. You will see me progress every time you see me on this camera. You will. Life is about progression. And if you look at this camera one day in a month or 2 or 3 and I look the same, then I'm not putting my feet to the pavement. I'm not doing the work. And you got to do the work. You know, George, what you resist persists every single time. Everything that's wearing on your heart, you know, wearing on you, this thing you can't just stop thinking about. It's persisting because you're resisting. I've been in the gym for a month. I've lost maybe 10 pounds or so. I feel great. I feel much better than I did a month ago. And I never should have got back here. I never should have come back to this point, but I'm here. And you get taken back to points to remind yourself. Whatever you think can't happen to you, it can. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not prepared for it, it's going to sideswipe you in a way that you can't even imagine, and you are going to have to adjust everything. That's it. You want the people in your life to change? Talk to them. You want them to stop talking to you a certain way? Talk to them. You want them to stop treating you a certain way? Talk to them. Everything you put out into the universe has an effect. Everything you say about yourself. I remember one time I went to, because I'm a cross-border worker. For those who don't know, I live in Canada, work in the States, and, flip that around. I live in Canada. Yeah, I live in Canada, work in the States. Sorry, my brain is all over the place. It's the heat. The heat is, I think it's like 92 and it's 11:30. So the heat is really getting to my brain. But I went through I got to the customs booth. And now I have a Nexus card. I'm a Nexus card holder. So I go through and they see my card. My face comes up on the screen. And the picture's old. I'm a lot smaller in that picture. And the dude looks at me, and he was much younger than me. He was probably about, 24, 25, very young kid. And he looked at my picture, and he kind of hesitated for a second. And he didn't say anything. He didn't look at me weird. Nothing. But then I picked up on something. My ego came into play. And I'm trying to make a joke. I'm trying to be self-deprecating to kind of break this tension. And so I said, yo, it's me. I'm just a lot fatter. And this kid, 15 years younger than me, looked at me dead in my eyes and said, don't ever talk about yourself like that. This man had never seen me before in his decades of life. I had never seen him before at that time, my 42, 43 years of life. And he told me right to my face, don't talk about yourself like that. Because he knew what I was doing. I was downplaying myself to make him feel more comfortable. And I did that a lot. Mute myself, kind of tone myself down. All that stuff. Just to make other people feel comfortable. Because I didn't feel like my light should be shining. And it should be. And yours should too. Because we all bring something uniquely great to this planet. And you will never know that if you keep staying in the same place. So if you've been thinking about doing something, you've been thinking about going to the gym, go. Start small. You ain't got to be in there clanging and banging like you 20. You ain't going to be spinning 4 wheels on the squat rack. You ain't going to be doing that. Just do it to make yourself feel better. And then over time, a few months go by, you'll look better. Now you feel better. Now you look better. Now you out there strutting and people can pick up on that energy. That's what, you see people and they lost weight. They don't be like, oh my God. Yes. Okay. The initial, sight of them. Wow, you lost weight. But after that, it's like, wow, it's something different about you. It's because your confidence came back. Your light came back. And that's it. You owe the world the best version of you. For you. For you. Not for anybody else. And that was my thing too. I was trying to rely on other people to be happy. And that's just not fair. You have to be the reason that you're happy. Every day. Every single day. That's even when I wasn't believing it. And I said, tell yourself you love you too. I was projecting. That's what I was doing. I was projecting. I was trying to I was trying to reinforce something that I had forgotten in you. But although all that messaging, that was for me. And I'm finally picking up on it, and I don't want to let it go, because at 44, I can't carry this weight at 50. Can't carry it at 55. Shit, by then, who knows? Organs might start failing. Who knows? Enjoy your life. Eat what you eat, drink, be merry, do all that stuff. But you also have to take care of yourself. And you also have to realize that there are other people in this with you. Like I said before, you're not an island. Every man has a team. What happens when you go away? And I'm not just talking about, like, oh man, I lost my job or something, But like, what happens if you pass on? What happens if you get sick? All these people have to carry and shoulder your load. Don't let them do it after you're gone. They should be doing it right now. And you should be reinforcing that. There's dudes out here who worked 14, 15 hours a day for 30 years. And now they gone because they worked themselves to death. So, thanks guys. As usual, tell your mama you love her. Tell your father you love them. Tell your spouses, siblings, boyfriends, girlfriends, whomever. And most of all, tell yourself that you love you too. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.